All right, we're underway.
Alrighty then. So we're here because this medical system is really complicated and it's really good. It's actually pretty realistic and once you learn the basics, it's pretty straightforward.
Hmm.
So this is our medical training. Here's our PowerPoint. All right, required equipment. It's kind of like with the vanilla equipment. But you should get a PIR first aid kit and a PIR medical kit. The medic kit allows you to do more advanced stuff like a medic. Then the first aid kit is like a standard first aid kit in Armor 3.
Mm.
I'm gonna go over the basics too that you already know, but I'm just doing it because of your recording. So
All right.
when you find someone who's injured, you have the two options. You can either treat them or you can move them because it's not like the vanilla Armor 3 where you could just put a bandage on really fast. There's more intricate, and when you're getting shot at, you don't want to sit there in the middle of crossfire and get shot. All right, now this thing I call it the circle of life. It's the very middle of the when you start treating someone medically, it's a very middle circle. There's three different options. We'll get to that in a minute. The very center of it though will show you the circle of life, like what's going on, and the outer ring shows you how much time you have before they die. So there are three. So there obviously is a mini game. So the mini game consists of WASD. You know that already.
Right.
You hold the keys when they illuminate, release the keys when they're unilluminated. All right, the circle of life, the middle circle, you click on it. Whenever you assess a patient, you should click on it 3 times because there's three categories. There's bleeding, breathing, and pulse. So that very middle circle right there, if you click on it when you're treating somebody, it will pop up. It will say like the bleeding status. It will say their breathing status and their pulse status. Whenever you first get a new injured patient, you should instantly click on that thing 3 times to see the three statuses. And we'll go over each one in depth. The bleeding one is the most common one. It's the first one. It's the most common injury. You click on a circle. You kind of see that little diagram in the middle, the white line with the little drips going on it. That's blood. That means it's a massive open bleeding wound. If you take your middle mouse button over the actual injured person and hover over that circle, it'll give you a description of what's going on. But traditionally, you know, if it's a severe bleeding wound, you're gonna put a tourniquet first. I put that backwards. But most wounds can be treated with a bandage. And if it's really severe and you have to give them a blood transfusion, which would be that bottom one. So if it's a regular wound, if it's this open wound, you just do a bandage. If it's a severe wound, you do a tourniquet then a bandage. And if you lose a lot of blood, it'll tell you you do the blood also. That's the most common injury you'll see in the field. Breathing. All right. When you click on the breathing category and you hover over the little middle circle, the circle of life, it will give you dialogue. It will say breathing or not breathing, and it will say damaged airway. If he has a damaged airway, you can't do rescue breaths. So you have to do a breathing tube. So it'll tell you the category. If it says not breathing, that means he's just not breathing. But it'll say not breathing damaged airway. That means you gotta put the airway. We'll get more into that in depth in a minute though. The next slide is pulse. And when you click that circle the third time, you get the pulse reading. Do they have a pulse? And obviously you do the CPR, no pulse. But there's specific patterns. So yeah, you'll do. We'll get to the patterns right now in a second. This whole PowerPoint's going to be available on Discord too on the medical resources. It's a PDF for everyone. All right, so this is basically the treatment cycle. It's kind of complicated, but when you first assess someone, I'll promise you it's not as complicated as it looks. the first thing you're gonna check is, you go through the circles really quick. Are they bleeding? If they're not bleeding, you move on to the next circle. Are they breathing? If they are breathing, you move on to the next circle. If they have a pulse, there's no need to be treating them. But then when you see the bleeding, it says, or it'll say like open wound, or it'll say severe bleeding. Is it a critical bleeding? Then you put a tourniquet on. That's always the first step, because if you try a CPR with a severe open wound, you're going to turn your patient into a squirt gun and squirt blood all over the place. So the first thing you're going to do is, if they have a critical bleeding, put a tourniquet on. After that's done, the bleeding part's done. If they're breathing, if they're not breathing, if it's just regular not breathing, you move on to the next step. If they're not breathing and they have a damaged airway, you will then put a breathing tube in before you move to the next step. And then you get to the last phase, which is phase 3. Do they have a pulse? And you look back, are they breathing in step 2? Because what you're going to do is you're going to go to these end things right here. At the end, no matter what, you're always going to do one or the other. If they're breathing but they have no pulse, you're just going to do CPR until they wake up or die. If they have no pulse and they're not breathing, you're going to do CPR and rescue breaths until they die. Over and over and over again. Back and forth, back and forth. The only reason we put breathing first is because we need to see if they have a damaged airway. Because, oops.
That was me.
Oops.
That was me.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not seeing any slides. You gave that big presentation. I didn't see any slides. I'm not seeing any slides.
Oh, you're not?
No.
Yeah, I can see the slides.
Oh, Joe can see him. That's weird.
It says the screen's blank, but.
Oh, you know what? Walk close to the screen. Just get really close to the screen.
Okay, yeah, that's better. All right.
It'll spawn in. Let me go back to the other slide real quick.
Did it work?
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, that's a load of texture in. It's technically a sign, so you gotta get close to it first for the load of texture in.
Oh, that's unique.
This is where we were at. So I'll go back. I'll go back to the beginning since you didn't see him here.
Well, yeah, for the purpose of the film, sure. Sorry about that. I just didn't know.
It's okay. Yeah, it's Arma 3. Like I said, the 3 circles of life. We got bleeding, breathing, and the pulse. When you first get to the patient, you will tap that circle in the middle 3 times, and you'll see the 3 circles, the 3 statuses of them. And if you hover the mouse over that middle circle, you will see it'll give you more information about the different categories. If it's the bleeding one, it'll say severe bleeding, or it'll say open wound. For breathing, it'll say not breathing, or it'll say not breathing with a damaged airway. And for the pulse, it'll just say no pulse. So, mini game, we already know that WASD. Hold them down when do the mini. The circles of life. Oh, while I go back, there we go. All right, there we go. It started being buggy for some reason. So the first circle is gonna be the breathing circle. That's what it always starts on. And you're gonna see the wound by hovering over that middle circle, and it's gonna say is it a severe wound or open wound? If it's an open wound, you just put a bandage on. If it's severe, you put a tourniquet on. But I already we'll go over the cycles of treatment later on. This just explain the buttons. Breathing, you have the different options right here. You have the airway status is damaged. You have rescue breaths, that is in the cycle of treatment. And the breathing tube, only if you need to. Pulse is really simple. Do they have a pulse? And we have a CPR option on top. So for the treatment procedures, we have this is how we assess a patient. We do that quick click 3 times in the middle circle to see the 3 categories. And it says, are they bleeding? And if they're not bleeding, you move on to the next one. Are they breathing? If they are, you move on to the next one. Do they have a pulse? If they are, you move on to the next one. Most of the common injuries are severe bleeding. So are they bleeding critically? Then you give them a tourniquet. If not, and they have nothing, if they have more things wrong with them, you move on. If they just have an open wound, you move on because it's not life-threatening. The 3 life-threatening things are bleeding out, suffocating, and no pulse. So if they're not breathing, you're going to look to see if their airway is damaged. If it's not damaged, you move on to CPR, the 3rd step. And if they have no pulse, then you come down here, depending if they are breathing or not, you have these 2 different options for your final treatment. It says do either if they are breathing and have no pulse, you do CPR until they wake up. If they are not breathing and have no pulse, you're going to do cycles of CPR and rescue breaths until they wake up. So when the patient gets revived, does he still look bloody when he stands up? If he's bloody still when he stands up, give him pain pills, possibly a bandage if you didn't do it in treatment, because if he has like severe wounds, you probably won't do the bandage in the life-saving treatment. You'll just do a tourniquet. If he's not bloody when he stands up, give him a big medical bill, because that's what we do.
That's how you turn a profit, huh?
Yep. Most injuries, obviously are going to be gunshot wounds. And you just assess on the circle. Like on this example over here, you see that little circle, the picture with the little blood dripping out in the middle. That means this is a severe wound. So then you'll do tourniquet and bandage. And if you lost a lot of blood, it'll tell you, then you do the blood bag. Honorable mentions, the assist, when it's a very severe wound, and for some reason only with NPCs, they say sometimes you need an assist of another player to do the medical treatment, and that's that top button up there, and it's just a simple, it's really easy, it's WS and AD. And morphine, it's not really that critical, the pain injection right there. All it does is it gives you more room for error with the minigame. Because the minigame, how it's timed, it does it so that you have a certain amount of seconds to push the buttons. And if you give it a pain injection, it makes it so that you have more time to push them, more room for error. So this is simple stuff. It says John Smith has severe gunshot wound to his leg, massive blood loss. He is breathing and has a pulse. How do you treat him?
Tourniquet.
Yep, tourniquet.
Bandage the wound.
And
give
pop
blood.
the pain. Yeah, and if he needs pain pills, give him pain pills because drugs help everything. And then this is the more serious one. Tom Brady has severe gunshot wound to his torso, massive blood loss. He's not breathing. His airway seems damaged, and he has no pulse. This is a more complicated one.
I would guess you try to reestablish him to try to get him a pulse first, I guess, and then apply a tourniquet. Bleed it really.
Yeah, you always apply a tourniquet first because if you try to do CPR on someone with a massive gunshot wound, then they will gush blood out
Okay.
and they'll die faster. So if they have a massive wound, you always do a tourniquet first. Then you're gonna move on to it, see if he has a damaged airway. Then you apply a breathing tube, because then you're gonna go to the end cycle of CPR and rescue breaths. The tourniquet is always first if it's massive, because if not, you're gonna turn him into a tube of toothpaste
Okay.
and pushes blood out of him. So, tourniquet, and if he is not breathing but has a good his airway's not damaged, then you just move on to CPR and rescue breaths. And you'll skip the bandage because the tourniquet stops the bleeding, and you can do the bandage after he's back up and alive. The three things that will kill you are your bleeding out, not breathing, and no heartbeat. So once he do the CPR a few cycles, he'll pop up. You give him a bandage and oral pain meds. All right, we're gonna do some live drills. I have some volunteers back here. They're gonna come help us out. Let me call our volunteers. Here comes Todd. Willing to die for the cause. Todd, get over here. Todd's trying to hide behind the ambulance because he don't want to die.
I don't blame him.
But he's gonna have a minor wound, so you can treat him by yourself.
Right.
Here we go, Todd. Oh, he lost his hat. There's Todd. So the first thing you're gonna do is a 3 circles. See his status of how his bleeding, how his bleeding's doing, his airway, and his heart.
He has an open wound.
How's his breathing?
He's has an injury in the respiratory tract. He has a pulse and he has an open wound. So I guess
So you do the tourniquet first
yeah.
for the wound.
It didn't say it was severe bleeding, but yeah, I guess I could do tourniquet first.
Oh, if it's not severe, then you could just move on to the airway. Since he has a damaged tract, you gotta put a breathing tube in.
Okay. I don't get it. It's open. Let me.
Oh, this is open wound. Respiratory tract injury. Oh, it's saying you need an assist now? I'll give you an assist apparently.
Well, I don't get this because it.
Yeah, it's getting more severe, that's why. So I had to give you an assist, so that's why. Because there's a severe injury now. So I'm going to do the assist part, and you do the breathing tube.
Well, it's not giving me any. Okay, here we go. Okay. It turned green. So he's breathing again. keep messing this up. Okay. I keep messing up the keys, and I'm getting penalized for it. I'm having to do everything all over again. Oh, finally. About damn time. What a pain in the ass that is.
Yeah, you saved his life. You're a hero. But the next one, this is the easy one. The next one's gonna be hard. You got one more.
Oh, he's not injured. He's just playing.
Well, I don't have a gun.
Yeah. All right, here's our next volunteer. He's gonna be run up right now. Here is Billy Cyrus. He's running the wrong way. Being a stupid guy, run the long way over here. He's not in a hurry to die.
All don't blame him.
What's this guy doing? What are you doing, Joe?
Oh, I'm just setting up the
We have
scenario.
we have a serious establishment here. We're trying to do a. No, sir, you survive. You get out of here. I think this is our guy. Let me make sure. Let me see. Yep, that's him. This
Oh,
guy's
yeah.
in more serious wounds.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the assist position.
No heartbeat. Okay, I did it. Respiratory tract injury. No heartbeat. Guess I gotta go back and do that again.
Oh, that's weird. I didn't even injure him.
It still says he has no heartbeat.
Yeah, you gotta cycle through the CPR about 3 to 5 times before they heartbeat gets revived. Ouch.
Still says no heartbeat. Poor guy. Okay, that still didn't do it. time. I guess you got. I'm gonna give him a tourniquet. Damn it! It messed it up again. Okay, that did it. Still has no heartbeat.
You want something a little bit less challenging? Or is this good enough?
The guy's about dead. Chest compressions. He's dead, huh?
He's dead.
Yeah, shit.
I'll give you this guy.
Yeah, make sure the first thing you do is tourniquet if it's severe bleeding, and then you do the airway. You gotta put that breathing tube in him before you do your CPR.
Okay.
Why keeps falling off? There he goes. You got this guy. He should be an easy one.
Okay.
I threw it up on the screen too. The cycle. It's
Oh.
always if it's
I'll
severe bleeding, tourniquet. If the
I'll-
airway's damaged, do breathing tube.
Alright, I got you.
Nice. The garbage cleaning mod did his job. He got rid of all the corpses back here.
Nah, I got rid of it. Sorry. Oh man, bad. Messed up on this disc.
Ah, shit.
The mini game is all practice.
Looks like he's better.
Yep. Now he needs his drugs.
Damn it.
He's about to die.
Is he dead?
No, he's about to. I'm about to give him an assist to keep him from dying.
He's dying because he needs his drugs. He's about to have his draws.
There he goes. Is he better now?
Yep.
Oh, better. How about that?
The mini game just takes practice. You just got, like I said, all the different treatments. It's always the same pattern. So, if you learn when you memorize the key bindings and stuff, when you do more medical, it will get easier and easier. And I threw the thing up there on the board again on the screen. The treatment method. You always check your bleeding first. If it's severe, you put a tourniquet right away. If the airway's damaged, you always put a breathing tube right away after the tourniquet.
Okay.
So you gotta make sure the airway's open and there's no blood. Because if you do CPR when there's a gaping wound, you'll squirt blood out of them.
You want to work on this guy?
This guy being the guy on the cot?
Yeah. You want to do another one, or are you good? You
Well,
want to do a more severe one?
I want to know how to drag somebody.
Okay. Let me see if you can. Here. You should be able to drag him now. Try dragging him.
Now it only shows a medical deal. There's supposed to be.
You scroll the middle mouse button down and it'll pop up.
Let me move this chair out the way. It fell to the chair. Try again. See if he might be. Should see a drag icon. Little hand.
Okay. To me, this is gonna be most important in when we're in the middle of a firefight. Somebody gets hurt.
Yeah.
This one's gonna be a little bit tough. He's unconscious.
The main thing too is being able to assist through the top option, because a lot of times like us medics will be in the field and we need to assist and we'll start screaming like, oh, we need to assist. Oh yeah, he's gushing blood out.
I'm applying a tourniquet.
Yeah.
No heartbeat. He doesn't need assist. That's the funny thing is. You said you were
Give it-
applying.
Give it time and it'll need an assist.
I'm gonna give him assist to keep the him dying faster.
Shit. All right.
All right, now you gotta put a bandage to stop the bleeding. Cause he's still bleeding out a lot.
All right.
All right, now you just gotta put the airway tube in him. Cause he's not breathing. He has a injured respiratory tract.
Okay. No breath.
You already got it in?
Yeah, I've got it in.
Okay, so now you just gotta do chest
CPR.
compression and mouth to mouth, in order. So
Okay.
Now you do mouth to mouth.
Well, it says he still has no heartbeat.
Yeah, you gotta keep going back and forth. So it's like a regular like CPR where you do a couple rescue breaths and then you go into do the
Oh, okay.
chest compression. He's about,
Is he
he's
dead?
about to die.
Yeah.
He's about to.
I'll give you an assist also. Maybe 2 assists.
No, you can only do 1 assist max. But he's probably gonna die because he's on his last little bar. So any more fails is gonna result in his timely demise.
No pressure.
That's it. Well, we tried.
You know the basics now too, and the important thing is always severe wound, tourniquet, damaged airway, breathing, and then you move on to CPR and breathing.
Okay.
Because you gotta make sure the airway's open and they're not squirting blood out.
All right.
Why this guy looks drunk?
Somehow Arma 3 glitched in and you spawn in twice. That's you and that's you. You got a clone.
Who, me?
Yeah, this medic right here in front of us is you also. But you can't move. He just.
See a zombie?
Open.
Okay, this one a little bit easier.
Yeah, you don't need an assist for this one. Go ahead.
He's glitching. Let me see if I can fix his animation. He's bugging out. He keeps trying to listen. Next slide. Next slide.
You dead?
No, he's still alive.
Well, I heard something fall.
Your clone stepping on his face.
Ah, fucked up.
You're not ready yet? You're not ready? I thought you said you're leaving at 12. Okay.
All right.
Those sound effects get me every time.
Especially the breathing tube one.
I put that stuff in before. I heard people put it in, and it never sounded like that. Looks like he's alive.
He is
I think
alive.
he. Okay, I think it's this. Let me put his animation back in. Let me see if I can fix that ambient. Okay, there it goes.
Yeah, okay. What do you see my bill? Okay, well I think I got the basics down.
All right.
Thanks for taking the time to run me through this.
Yep.
No, no problem. You know, it's good because Joe Joe joined the cartel and stuff, and I use all the help I get. We got this new guy supposed to be a medic, but I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
He's IDAP guy. You see some of our new toys we got here. We got this medical truck and this mobile command post.
How about that?
Yeah, the guy who joined IDAP made him for free for us. But it's all in French. All the animations and stuff. We also got the Zydab bus.
Oh, he has a communication center.
Yeah.
Fancy.
I asked him if he could. No, there's a bigger one too that isn't a mod, but he's gonna put a texture on it. I asked him if he could make a PMC one too, because I thought it'd be kind of cool to have like a mobile command headquarters as a respawn point for us.
Well, not meaning to be critical, but as few shooters as we have, we needed everybody in the field.
Yeah.
We don't need a boss in a command center unless we have about four
No,
or five shooters.
I was thinking about having making it invincible and having an NPC just trail behind us and like make a mobile respawn point for us.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, we need all the guns and IDAP we could get. And we got this fancy bus too.
Time as the bus I rode earlier.
This fella that did the textures for my C-47s. Next month I'm going to have him do a texture for a OSCE vehicle.
Okay.
Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. They're a NGO monitoring agency in Eastern Europe. This young Russian fella had put together something similar. The exterior of the vehicle was just gorgeous. It was a white Toyota Land Cruiser and had the logos all over it. But the interior was a mess. You just couldn't work it. So I'm going to have him take one of the SUVs and stick the OSCE logo on it, and so and for my own purposes and everything, you know, obviously.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be one of the projects. But that C-47 is a thing I've been wanting for a long time.
Yeah, that guy's really good. That's why I met him on Fiverr because I was trying to find a texture guy, and I started talking to him and stuff, and I told him about our group and stuff. He can't play with us, but I said let's jump in our Discord so I could get a hold of you if I need to get a hold of you.
Yeah.
And that Hunter was a hard texture to make. It was 3 textures for one truck.
Yeah.
The other guy, the guy who joined our group, I'm gonna try to get him make an IDAP Jeep like this. I'm trying to put less vehicles down in our next campaign. So I'll probably put a command post down, probably a bus, instead of having all those vans around and stuff. And the guy's a medic, so he wants to go in this little medical truck right here. Was it spawns a clinic behind it?
Very nice.
So we're gonna have less IDAP vehicles, but we're gonna make it more functional.
Well, I'll be happy when I get the black Humvee because it has more ammunition, about 2.5 times more ammunition than the
You
Ion
got that
vehicle.
going on tonight? We already got a delivery, and it's already down tonight for the mission.
Okay. That'll
And then have it copied you also. He's like, that's a good idea.
do what?
Havoc requested one for himself also.
Oh yeah, yeah. But I was checking the armor values on it on the Arsenal. It really isn't much different than what Ion has. But the main advantage is the extra ammunition, the extra 250 rounds or 300 rounds ammunition. That will come in very handy.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I'm talking with Joe because Joe's good at doing scripting and stuff. And I'm gonna try to make it Sean's HIMMET, rearm, repair, and refuel without me having to be there because right now it's like a bug where I gotta jump in the vehicle and repair your vehicles for you and stuff.
Mhm.
So I'm gonna try to see about attaching the trigger to a truck so that when you just go next to it, it rearms, repairs, and refuels you.
Well, we need to be smarter about how we deploy vehicles while we're at a stop. You know, we just need to be smarter about it. I suspect.
Yeah. I'm just in charge of IDAP. I'm an unarmed guy. That's all Havoc and stuff and those guys. Strategy. I just hide in my little bunker and duck.
Well, I'm going to lunch. Thanks for the help.
Alright. No problem.
No problem.
What do you think about new toys?